Alright, hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're gonna have a rather interesting video about a kind of underrated character at the moment. We all know that Spider-Man just had his, Far From Home update, and we expected a lot from these two suits. Well, I guess the most that we got out of them is the fact that they were two completely unique suits for the most part. Most of their abilities look different and they apply different unique effects. This one has a lot of shock damage, buffs and so on, and the second uniform has more to like fracture, invisibility, making it more inclined to be more PvP based, and this is more PvE based for the most part. But still, this uniform seems to have taken priority because of its overall effects, and one of the skill changes not shown here for both uniforms is the ultimate skill, which is also completely different for the two Spider-Man. This is the ultimate skill. As you can see, this particular one gives the all defense down, which stacks in two different ways. It is a -20 and then it stacks up to another 75, so it goes down to all defense down to -95, and then it gives the invisibility buff. As for the other guy, this guy, it doesn't have the invisibility, and it doesn't have the extra 75 all defense down. Instead, it has the shock damage, and the rest of it is almost pretty much the same. Not really that much of a difference, but the skill animations are of course different. So a lot of the arguments to this uniform is the fact that it's not very straightforward to use, especially in PvP, which is what it was designed for. And the reason is because of the way his fifth skill works, which is the invisibility only applies at the end of the skill. So this means the fight has to go on in a situation where Spider-Man does not instantly kill the enemy he faces so that the invisibility can activate, or he doesn't instantly die, because if he doesn't get the invisibility off against heroes like Captain Marvel or Thanos, when he goes into his iframe, he's just going to get one-shotted and he's not going to have a chance. And this is not like Miguel's invisibility that triggers on hit, so he doesn't have a very defensively oriented invisibility. This is more of an offensive oriented invisibility, because it gives him time to continue his attacks without being interrupted once he becomes invisible. So the only thing that makes Spider-Man survive is his guaranteed dodge rate, which, yeah, I mean, if you're in an iframe and your guaranteed dodge rate doesn't trigger anyway, you're pretty much screwed. So you're relying on this 25%. Don't think that his 75 is going to help you much, because most of the opponents that you'll face will have a lot of ignore dodge stacked into them. The only one that doesn't is Jean Grey, but she does so much damage and so many hits in her skills that even if one little hit gets through, you're going to lose like a big chunk of your life and you're probably going to die as a result. And a lot of players have a lot of ignore dodge on their cards as well. I don't, apparently, because I kind of suck, but still I'm just trying to work towards that. But if you have a lot of ignore dodge on your cards, it's pretty scary. And if they have gears like CTP of energy, like this one, then you're going to have a lot more ignore dodge on the character, which will give you a lot of problems. So today we're going to look at a bit of a unique game mode that not everyone gets to play. It's a privileged mode. It's Alliance Tournament, and as you can see, the new meta is here. For those of you who are Cynic Alex fans, you guys will know the new meta. So I like to watch some of these fights in Alliance Tournament, right? Because it's pretty much like Conquest. It's a 3v3 mode where 3 heroes will fight 3 heroes at the same time. But it's a one-shot kind of attack, where if you do the attack and you win, it's a victory, or it's an attack failed and you're screwed. It's one of these two things. So I often go into the different rounds to check out these game modes, because a lot of these tournament players know what they're doing, right? And you can see, based off their characters and their buffs, you get a kind of have a look at how their skills pan out, how their gears trigger, how they build their character. If you want to always know more details, you could just click this look at the player who you saw in the fight. You can click his info, and you guys can just check his character. Like maybe he's Thanos, you want to know, oh, he used CTP of regeneration, so that's where I was seeing the create shield ignores cancel effect from. Oh, he has a rank 4 type enhancement, maybe that's why he does so much more damage than mine. Maybe that's how he gets like near 40k physical attack. You could even check their cards from by clicking this little icon down here on the bottom left, and you get to see that he has 4 premiums and 1 non-premium card, so you kind of check their effects here. You can click this to see what they provide. So you can see this guy has great all attack, all attack, all attack, all attack, and definitely another another all attack from the extra stat roll. So they go for as much all attack as they can, and as you can see here, he has 47% increased all attack, 20% increased energy attack. It's almost similar to mine, and he doesn't have much ignore dodge, just like my case, I guess. The only thing very different here, I think, is that he has a lot more attack speed than mine, and he has some additional effects that I do not have. These 2 effects, I have none of those. So yeah, it's pretty scary what these players pack, and you can see their rank 7s, rank 6, and rank 5, so you kind of know why they get a lot of stats. So now let's go into the game mode and investigate what we actually came for, which is the viability of Spider-Man in a game mode that not every one of us have the privilege to test. So if you don't play Alliance Conquest, or Alliance Tournament, you will never really know what certain characters can do while they are in a team. Like characters like Mysterio, for example, right? Let me just give you the example before we proceed. So characters like Mysterio, for example, I don't have him at tier 2, unfortunately. I do have a friend of mine who does, and he looks amazing and all that. So characters like Mysterio rely a lot on iframes to survive, and their iframes are really long, their damage is really low. But what they do allow is the delay of the fight, right? So if you're going up against a team that doesn't have ignore iframe, you're pretty much going to be able to stay in your iframe for almost the entire time, and you can just delay the fight until it's over because of timing or whatsoever. And if you have like a regeneration proc or something, you could win just because the opponent ran out of time and you had slightly more HP, and that's a viable thing in Conquest. So now we're going to go into these game modes, and we're going to see how these high level players use the new stealth suit of Spider-Man in a lot of their battles. So we're just going to like run through some of these, and then we'll probably get to watch Cynic Alex's one as well. But we're just going to run through a few of these, and we're going to see a lot of uses of the Spider-Man's new stealth suit, and he's tier 3, of course. Because all of these players are like top level players, right? We're talking about. Let's just go into the first one and see how he does. So I will try to use my mouse cursor here. I know it's a little bit small for you guys, but I'll try to use it to track Spider-Man's movement, because it'll be a little bit difficult for you guys to see what he's doing for the most part. So I believe I'm tracking Spider-Man correctly so far. Yeah, and as you can see, that's a bit of a cluster over there. So as you can see, both sides are using Spider-Man tier 3s here, and they're both doing good work, right? They will not have much webbing because of the debuff removal on Jean Grey, but as you can see, it gives a split-second chance for some of them to still apply webbing, right? They still manage to get their webbing off. Now the other Spider-Man is the only one alive. So that split second of webbing sometimes can determine a match. And for the fact that Spider-Man is the only one that's naturally web immune, and everyone else has a CTP, it makes it very, very unique for the fact that Spider-Man actually has a place in Tournament and Conquest. A very unique spot that's like a very unique game mode. That's like, it's probably like what, 2 out of the other 20 possible game modes in the game, right? So it's still a very unique spot for him to be in, but I wouldn't say that it's underrated. So that's the specialized thing about Spider-Man. So let's just have a look at another video right now, and then we'll see possibly another Spider-Man over here. So these are very unique uses of the CTP of regeneration, because he needs something to stay alive. But as you can see, another Spider-Man here, this time taking on a Deadpool on the opponent's team. Deadpool gets wiped, right? Because he does have certain gaps between his iframes, and he relies on sometimes tanking. Whereas this Spider-Man, if he gets a split second of webbing, as you saw, that split second of webbing literally determines a lot of the fight, and that allowed them to take out their Gene. So that's the second match we're seeing another use of Spider-Man's new PvP suit. Now let's have a look at one more maybe. I think this one also has a Spider-Man. Alright, now we're going to see another two Spider-Man take on each other. So this is also a CGP of regeneration versus CGP. I think this seems to be the get-go for the kind of Alliance Conquest, or rather Alliance Tournament build. CGP of regeneration seems to be great because it does that, cancel Pierce, which is very, very important for these game modes, because you don't want characters like Jean Grey or CM to just one-shot you once you go in here. And as you saw, there's a split second of webbing there, and that kind of helped. And the only one that's just naturally immune is Spider-Man. So without Spider-Man, now this Gene is just gonna get ragdolled to death. There's no doubt in that. But yeah, so there was a little bit of difference in the way Spider-Man works in these game modes, and the reason for that is because he gets to activate his invisibility. Now let's go to another one, and I'm not sure, but I think there might be a Spider-Man in this. So let's just go in and see if there is one, and I'll show you exactly the moment his invisibility procs. If it's not here, then we'll probably go back and check one of the previous replays. So let's just go. Yeah, okay, so we have a Spider-Man here, right? He's also carrying a regen CTP. So now we're going to see if he survives long enough to get his 5th skill. And since in this mode he has 3 different targets, he has no reason to get cancelled unless he gets guard broken by Jean's 5th per se, or the AI is just dumb enough to not use the the 5th at all, which is kind of unfortunate if that happens. So I know that some of the meta requires you to have less cooldown on Spider-Man, just so that he gets the full rotation going. So as you can see, this one barely got a chance to get his invisibility off. We see none of it, but he's surviving against this Quicksilver team. And there was a split second of webbing against the Thanos, I think, or was it Quick? It's one of those two. But yeah, he's managing to perform all of his skills and survive. Applying fracture, yep. Alright, end of the match. Alright, so in this match, surprisingly, we don't get to see him use his invisibility at all. But it's another victory for a team with a tier 3 Spider-Man with a new uniform. So as kind of mixed as the reviews seem on him, he may have just 1 or 2 game modes that he's actually viable in, one of which is Alliance Tournament. The other one, Alliance Conquest, which is like probably like 5% of the entire game. But still, it's a very, very weird and rare spot for him. We will see this. I think this team loses, but we will see if the Spider-Man... Wait, is this the same team as just now? Not entirely sure. I don't think so. I don't think so. So we will see how long this guy manages to pull off his skills. Custom gear skill. Okay. Oh, I think this is the same one as the previous match, maybe. Alright, that's it. Instance of webbing there, as you can see. That's a pretty long instance of webbing, and that is really, really good. It gives a lot of advantage to the team. It's like a short stun, right? Because most stuns don't really work in these modes. So having the webbing is really a great added benefit when your guard break is not working. So yeah, we kind of get the gist of that fight. Let's just go back and look for another one. Let's see this one. This guy failed. Let's just see how this goes. So I was really surprised when I was checking out this tournament, and it's like 2 rounds of a lot of Spider-Man in different teams. And then I was thinking, like, maybe he did find his place, like in the meta, but in a very rare spot that most people don't quite fully understand. So yep, okay, this guy is getting a lot of buffs going on. He's getting frenzy and all of these. I think it's probably from his 4th skill, and he's still jumping around and just webbing people up, not getting a chance to get his invisibility off, but he is surviving. The Deadpool is regenerating quite terrifyingly. Okay, so the Jean dies the first time. She's gonna come back. Deadpool is dead. Wow. And there we go, the invisibility. So when this happens, no one targets Spider-Man. His life doesn't move. He's back in the invisibility again. This Spider-Man's crazy. He's just going from 5th to 5th, like right after the cooldown, which is insane. Okay, he died literally from the explosive ability of Thanos, but still. But yeah, there was a great delay of the fight, and the webbing, the invisibility, it allows him to stay in a lot longer than we thought he would, naturally. So yeah, that's another fight with Spider-Man where the team actually won. Now let's go down and look for Cinegalax. There we go. So Cinegalax won this, and I think he hasn't taken his attack yet. Oh no, he did take his attack. It's new, I think. Did it just refresh or something? I think it just refreshed. So anyway, let's just have a look at what happened here. Possibly we'll get a little more insight, because Cinegalax uses a Nick Fury, which is a very interesting lineup. So now he's going up against this Spider-Man tier 3. The other two characters are pretty much similar, I believe. They all have oh, he has a CTP of Rage. Apparently he doesn't use the CTP of Regen. He gets wrecked, man. My god, that was pretty terrifying. Alright, we may have to re-watch this to analyze what really blew up there. But yeah, nonetheless, it's pretty cool how these Spider-Man can hold their own. So that was insane. That was insane. Why does this guy have a red life bar? It's like an imposter in the match. What? The other two have blue life bars and there's one imposter. Maybe that was actually Cinegalax's like secret Spider-Man, you know. Alright, now let's just rewatch this again one more time. So we see the Spider-Man going around. He's trying to pull off his fourth. He gets a buff, but he gets interrupted. He manages to complete his fourth, so he gets the all attack buff going on here. The frenzy, right? Yeah, he gets a frenzy going off. And that was pretty crazy. The Jean on this team, she's doing so much damage. And so is Thanos, I believe. But I cannot tell which is Spider-Man's exact DPS output here. I wish we could see, like in Tournament and Conquest, maybe we could see a counter on who does the most DPS. That would be pretty cool. And who takes the most damage. That might be a good stat to have, like overall, right, in general. So yep, that was an interesting attack we saw there, the Nick Fury play. I like the way he uses Nick Fury. It's truly something impressive because of Nick Fury's leadership and overall support capabilities. But man, the Spider-Man tier 3s here are just wrecking it. And I mean, it's all about the stealth suit, right? He would not be able to come to this place in the meta if not for this stealth suit. You will not be seeing Spider-Man in Alliance Tournament before this. As you can see, this guy got his invisibility off. He was in 5 seconds of a no-touch state. Then he instantly took some damage. Let's just see whether he's going back into his invisibility, which is crazy. And now he's going to take a little bit more chunk in damage because there's a gap during that iframe. But oh, and he gets blown up. But yeah, as you saw, that invisibility kept him going. This Spider-Man didn't manage to get his invisibility off because he's just chaining 3 and 4, I think. 3, 4, and 2. But yeah, still. So as you guys saw, Spider-Man's stealth suit from Far From Home is totally viable in the meta. The only thing is that he doesn't work in every game mode, so he has a kind of niche performance in Alliance Conquest and Alliance Tournament. And the reason I started to dig into this is because, as I said, I like to watch these tournament gameplays because they are very high level PvP and they are a lot more cooler than normal regular timeline, because it's all 3 against 3 at the same time, right? So you get to see how certain characters use their abilities to the fullest, like crowd control abilities, you know, pulling together like multiple groups of enemies, because those skills are pointless in a 1v1. And also, if you have like a focused attack, like a direct attack, that those attacks are slightly weaker in a 3v3. like you don't see a lot of Captain Marvels here, because Captain Marvel needs to target one person at a time to use her fourth, and she doesn't really do well in large crowds, so she kind of has a disadvantage, and that's the reason why you do not see a lot of CMs in this game mode. And also, since in the tournament, unlike Conquest, in tournament you have to use your best 3, right? It's not just whatever you have to get the region. So everyone here has put like their heart and soul into making sure that this, if a battle ends, because app was false close. Okay, interesting. So yeah, they have to put their heart and soul into building these characters to their very best, right? So we kind of see the peak performance of like the greatest of PvP characters, and we actually get to see an Iron Man here. Wow, this is so cool. I want to see how long he survives. Yeah, probably about 5-10 seconds, I think, max. Alright, that was hilarious. What on earth were they thinking? That was really cute. That was really cute. Putting an Iron Man in a PvP. And Captain America, I mean, I don't mind him being there, but I just don't think that that is something you want to do in a mode where you need your best 3, right? Unless maybe that was, oh, I think we clicked the same replay again. So yeah, alright, let's go back and look for maybe another one here. Fury's brown eye, okay. Thing is, it's Fury's one eye, right? Hey, am I clicking the same thing, or like are there like 2 guys? Maybe I'm clicking the same thing, right? Probably. Let's click this one. Some weird symbol name. Alright, and as you can see, another Spider-Man. So yeah, let's have a look at what this Spider-Man does. Oh my god, the explosions from the 2 genes and Thanos' gliding is insane. Deadpool dies. He dies a lot sooner than Spider-Man. His stealth suit, I mean, it may not be, it looks good on paper, right? It looks weird in timeline. It looks weird in PvE content. But it's fantastic in a 3v3 PvP, because it allows him to do things that you just want to get done, and he does it. So it's ridiculous how these Spider-Mans actually dominate the tournament and conquest meta. So let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys like to watch some of these replays as well and figure out how these players actually manage their top teams, because I usually watch a lot of these to see you know, what really performs and what doesn't, and then I will click to check like on their players to see just how they build their characters, because it's amazing how these guys kind of put together these unique playstyles, right, and experimentation, and then they use like the top level of CTP. We may not have all of it to make certain things work, but nonetheless we can come pretty damn close sometimes, and that's pretty much what we want. So let's just look for some of these Spider-Man. There's one, and as you can see, CTP or regeneration seems to be the go-to in almost every character in Alliance Tournament, and of course if you don't have Alliance Tournament, Alliance Conquest. But in tournament, this is the go-to, I guess, because it gives guard break immunity. It allows any character, even those without healing, to heal. And the most important thing is that the shield that it provides ignores, cancel, and pierce, which is the most important thing. So what cancel does is basically kind of removal of your buffs. So it's like you ignore the removal of buffs. And then pierce effect is basically, you know, piercing through the shield and through invincibility. So in this case, if your character does not naturally have invincibility, it's just preventing the pierce to the shield. So the shield has to take the damage. But if your character has invincibility, like maybe Thor, you know, or Jean's ultimate skill, or Thanos's invincibility, the ignore pierce will also prevent the damage from going through the invincibility and the shield at the same time. So that's kind of great, fantastic CTP, terrifying CTP, of course, but it allows all these Spider-Man to keep up at very high levels of PvP, and he's totally viable. So I don't see a reason why people should be kind of you know, like feel bad about the fact that he didn't get like the best of what his update was about. I think he got exactly what he deserved. It's just that he's a very niche class right now. It makes him very kind of a bummer when you try him out in timeline and don't see him winning all the time. Well, I guess that's because they are two different game modes. They do work differently, and it's a little bit difficult to compare at first, but once you guys watch a lot of these, you realize that these guys have figured it out. They know how to use him, and he's taking out Deadpools, he's taking out Genes, he's taking out Thanos. I mean, come on, this guy deserves some credit, right? So yeah, that's it from me for today. I hope you guys have a newer look at this Spider-Man uniform and try to have a go at him. If you already do have his uniform and you feel that he's a bit underwhelming, you can probably try to push him further and see how far exactly he goes. So that's it from me. Adios.